In Newport, the local EMS is back on the road. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Phyllis Smith. The Newport EMS is back up and running. This is according to Board Treasurer Justin Tidd. Operations began on March 26th. According to Tidd, Newport EMS has responded to 4 calls so far as of Monday morning. Tidd says that 10 confirmed EMT positions have been filled, with 2 more applicants still processing. He added that Newport EMS is still looking for paramedics to join their service. Turning to the weather, meteorologist Jason Livia joins us now with a look at your first alert forecast. Jason?
Well, Phyllis, it's been a very nice day in the Mid-Ohio Valley, and while it's been a little bit on the breezy side, temperatures have been hovering in the upper 60s to low 70s for much of this afternoon. Looking out in the Jandil sky, we can still see a decent amount of cloud cover in the area. We've been off and on throughout the day, and winds have been on the breezy side. Temperatures across the region in the upper 60s to low 70s across the area, except down towards Huntington, which is in the low 70s, and will stick around this point for the next hour or two before the sun sets and we head down to the low 60s for the end of the night tonight. And tomorrow will be just as warm, if not quite a bit warmer, getting into those upper 70s to low 80s. We do have a warm week ahead as well as a wet week. The details of that I'll have later on. So for now, Phyllis, back to you.
Thank you, Jason. The Wood County Commissioners celebrated 3 local girls basketball teams at their meeting this morning. Our Chase Campbell has more.
The Wood County Commission kicked off its Monday morning meeting with a celebration honoring 3 local girls basketball teams that represented the county at the state tournament earlier this month. Commission President Blair Couch and Commissioners Jim Hamrick and Jimmy Colombo presented plaques to players and coaches from Parkersburg, Parkersburg South, and Williamstown High Schools. PHS took the Class Quad A state title, with South finishing as runner-up. Williamstown was runner-up in Class AA. Commissioner Hamrick, who organized the recognition, says this year's the 50th anniversary of girls basketball in the state, a milestone that makes the local team's achievements even more noteworthy.
I just thought this would be a good time to bring the champions and the runners-up, and that doesn't happen in Wood County every year. It happens a lot, but for all 3 teams to be in the championship game, it needs to be recognized.
The coaches from the 3 teams spoke during the ceremony. Each praised their own teams as well as the other schools' teams and said the players were well deserving of the recognition.
We watched a lot of basketball at that week we were down there, and I think all 3 of these teams here that represented Wood County not just themselves and their teams and their schools, but I felt like they represented Wood County with class.
Just what a great bunch of young ladies, and it was a privilege and a blessing every day to go to practice and spend time with them. They just were awesome all year.
I thought this was really the golden era of basketball in our area right now. That just the talent that's in the room is truly unbelievable, and you girls work so hard all the time.
Hamrick also proclaimed Monday Girls Basketball Day in Wood County. He noted that the championship game between PHS and South was historic, the first time the 2 schools had ever met in a championship game in any sport. In Parkersburg, Chase Campbell, WTAP News.
Also at today's meeting, the Wood County Commission approved its fiscal year 2026 to 2027 budget. The roughly $32 million budget includes a 3% raise for county employees and covers county offices like the prosecutor and sheriff, as well as other county operations. The commission is increasing the county levy rate by a fraction of 1%. According to County Administrator Marty Sufer, they are able to increase the levy rate without an election as long as the increase is below a certain threshold. The commissioners say the levy rate increase was driven largely by a soaring regional jail bill. Commission President Blair Couch says the state sets the rates for the jail bill, and counties are effectively penalized when inmate populations exceed their allocated threshold. Couch says the county uses the resources it has available to reduce the jail bill and limit inmate populations, but those methods only go so far.
We have a community corrections program that takes people out of the regional jail and puts them through a drug and alcohol rehabilitation. The DRC, Day Report Center, and the sheriff has home confinement.
The commissioners say the jail bill for this year was up $400,000, and they expect it to grow by another $500,000 next year. Despite the increase, the commissioners say Wood County still carries one of the lowest property tax levy rates in West Virginia. A big investment in history. Friends of the Museum, Inc. received a grant check from the Ohio History Fund, helping to preserve local history and expand access to the stories that helped shape Ohio. Our Cassidy Fury has the details.
Ohio History Connection and the Ohio History Fund presented a check for $15,300 to Friends of the Museums, Inc. Monday afternoon at the Campus Martius Museum in Marietta.
We already see 10,000 visitors every year from every county in Ohio, every state in the nation, and at least a dozen foreign countries. And a lot of those people are taking road trips. And with us celebrating America's 250th this year, we anticipate a lot more of those road trips happening.
Invisible Ground, a project based out of Athens, Ohio, is bringing augmented reality to the historical sites in Marietta.
One of the really cool things is it sort of brings history into the present, like literally into the physical places where you're standing. And so when you think about the idea of public history and being able to explore and enjoy these important sites and also learn about your community, this adds this other kind of interesting layer to it where you can see those photos where they actually happen.
The project would enable those with a smartphone or tablet to be able to immerse themselves in history as if they were stepping back in time, directly at the location of the historical event.
And I think this project, Invisible Ground in Marietta, will have a huge impact, not only because of the prominence of Campus Martius and the Ohio River Museum and the W.P. Snyder Jr., but also because this town is steeped in its history. And this project, using augmented reality, is another touch point for people to access not only local history, but state and national history in the case of Marietta.
This project will hopefully encourage younger people to get enjoyment out of learning about history and allow those who live here to experience what life was like so many years ago in the very place they are now.
Each site has a few images that you can see to give you an idea over time. And then there's also a small audio piece in there, even though there's a full podcast episode, a small piece that's more of like a museum interpretation audio or something like that. So you can see it, you can hear about it, and it ideally makes you look at your landscape differently, around you.
The grant from the Ohio History Fund will help create invisible ground markers across Marietta. Reporting from Marietta, I'm Cassidy Fury with WTAP News.
Still ahead tonight, how the city of Athens got caught up in a massive cyber theft, the money they've already tracked down, and the new safeguards now in place to protect your tax dollars.
We're looking at a pretty warm and wet week this week, especially after Wednesday. The details next.
Tonight's news poll is sponsored by Baker & Baker Jewelers.
Aloha, I'm Phyllis Smith, inviting you to join me September 3rd on a fabulous Hawaii adventure with Colette. We'll explore the stunning islands of Oahu, Hawaii, and Maui. Soak in the sun at Waikiki Beach and a special visit to USS Arizona Memorial. This and so much more. Colette covers the details, flights, hotels, meals, and local experiences. Don't miss out. To learn more, visit WTAP.com or call Colette at 800-581-8942.
WTAP News at 6 with Phyllis Smith. Jason Livia with your first alert weather forecast. And Griffin Albright with sports.
2 U.S. Air Force service members stationed in Delaware have been arrested for a series of cyber theft crimes. The FBI says the city of Athens is a victim of one of those crimes. City officials held a press conference today to provide updates about the case. Our Thomas Chase went to the press conference and he has more.
The city of Athens fell victim to a cyber theft of over $720,000 in November 2024. The theft was centered around the construction of the fire station on Stimson Avenue. Service Safety Director Andy Stone of the city of Athens says that the city filed a John Jane Doe lawsuit to the Target bank account, quote, within days of the theft being discovered. Stone added that speed was of the essence to stop any further transfer and laundering of the stolen money.
This endeavor was ultimately successful, and we were able to have $349,522.10 of stolen funds returned and frozen in the target bank account. An additional victim was also discovered as part of this process.
The city negotiated between the other identified victim a return of around $200,000 of funds frozen from the bank account. Stone said that the city was notified by the FBI field office of Iowa City, Iowa, that the FBI found evidence that, quote, appears to link the city's cyber theft case to the ones that they were working on.
An indictment was filed in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Iowa, naming 2 defendants of a series of cybercrimes. The people listed on the indictment were subsequently arrested. The persons listed with the Iowa indictment are individuals living in the United States. Up until their arrest, they were active duty military in the United States Air Force. Both were stationed at Dover Air Force Base in Dover, Delaware.
Stone added that the city was not formally named as a victim in the indictment, but the FBI informed the city that they will be added as an additional victim during sentencing if there is a conviction. The city is hopeful that the remainder of the stolen funds will be returned through restitution if there is a conviction. Other avenues for the recovery of stolen funds are being explored as well. Stone says that the city has made several improvements to ensure that the city is protected from any future cyber thefts.
Improvements made have included complete replacement of aging hardware and servers, complete migration of multi-factor authentication for all staff. Previous multi-factor authentication was required only for specific departments and offices.
You can find more improvements the city has made on our website, WTAP.com. Stone added that, quote, Athens has been committed to improving our processes to minimize the chances of a theft happening again in the future, end quote. In Athens, I'm Thomas Chase with WTAP News.
WTAP looks back on this day in history in today's We the People, celebrating 250 years.
On March 30th, 1981, President Ronald Reagan was shot in the chest outside a Washington, D.C. hotel by a drifter named John Hinckley Jr. The president had just finished addressing a labor meeting at the Washington Hilton Hotel and was walking with his entourage to his limousine when Hinckley, standing among a group of reporters, fired 6 shots at the president, hitting Reagan and 3 of his attendants.
A moment to reflect, a time to remember. Join WTAP in celebrating We the People. Watch This Day in